3 months passed. The Indomitable now carried a crew of 300. Some were veterans like Hyejin, discharged from the Defense Force for being too honest or too brave. Others were civilians like Bin, engineers and technicians who wanted to help. And some, like Bora, were young pilots who saw war coming and refused to wait for it to arrive. Bora was 26, reckless, brilliant, and the best pilot Tae-young had ever seen. She led a squadron of 40 fighters that launched from the Indomitable's hangar bays. Her parents died in the first alien attacks 500 years ago, and she carried that anger like fuel. Today she sat in the briefing room with the senior crew while Hanul displayed a star map. 3 red markers blinked in the darkness. These are the locations of 3 more Titan-class dreadnoughts, Hanul explained. I have recovered this data from corrupted files. The closest is the UNS Thunderchild, hidden in the Kepler system. It has been in hibernation for 500 years, waiting. Sangmin studied the map carefully. He was 41, a former weapons officer who had been discharged for questioning illegal orders. His knowledge of military systems was invaluable. The Kepler system is 3 weeks away at maximum speed. That's a long time to be away from the core systems, especially with alien activity increasing. We need those ships, Tae-young said. 1 dreadnought destroyed a scout vessel. But intelligence reports say the main alien fleet has thousands of ships. We cannot fight that alone. Ji-won, the medical officer and xenobiologist, raised her hand. She was 29, quiet and frighteningly smart. Her research station had been destroyed by an alien probe, but she survived by hiding in an escape pod for 2 weeks. I've been studying the data from the scout ship we destroyed. Their technology is biological, grown rather than built. That means they can produce ships quickly, maybe faster than we can find the old Titans. Then we need to move fast, Hyejin said. She had integrated perfectly into the crew, bringing discipline and tactical knowledge. 3 weeks to Kepler, maybe a week to wake the Thunderchild 3 weeks back. That's almost 2 months. A lot can happen in 2 months, Tae-young made the decision. We go. If we wait, the aliens might find those ships first. Hanul plot a course to the Kepler system. We leave in 6 hours. The crew dispersed to prepare. Only Dong-hyun remained. He was 38, a former Marine who had retired to become a farmer on a frontier world. When the alien attack started, he organized the veterans on his colony into a defense force. Now he commanded the Indomitable's 300 Marines, soldiers who would board enemy ships or defend the dreadnought if needed. Something's wrong, Dong-hyun said. I've been hearing rumors. The Colonial Council is not happy with us. There's talk of declaring the Indomitable an illegal military asset. Let them talk. We have done more to stop the aliens in 3 months than they have in a year. True, but they have lawyers and politicians. Those can be more dangerous than aliens sometimes. Tae-young sighed. Dong-hyun was right. The council had been sending increasingly hostile messages, demanding he bring the ship to their headquarters for inspection and reassignment. He ignored them, but he knew that could not last forever. The journey to Kepler was long and tense. Every day more reports came in of colonies going dark. The aliens were getting bolder, attacking closer to human-controlled space. The Indomitable was powerful, but it was only 1 ship. They could not be everywhere. Halfway through the journey, Young-soo contacted them. He was 45, a representative from something called the Colonial Prosperity Alliance. His message was smooth, friendly, and made Tae-young's skin crawl. Commander Tae-young, Young-soo said, his smile never reaching his eyes. I represent a coalition of colonies that believe this war is unnecessary. We've been studying the alien attacks. They seem to target military installations primarily. Perhaps if we stopped provoking them, they would leave civilian areas alone. They're destroying everything, Tae-young said. Military, civilian, it does not matter to them. Are you certain? Or is that what the Defense Force tells you to justify their budgets? Young-soo leaned forward. My coalition is opening diplomatic channels with the alien fleet. We believe peace is possible. What we do not need is a warmonger with an ancient warship making things worse. Tae-young ended the transmission. His hands clenched into fists. How could anyone look at the destruction and think the aliens wanted peace? There will always be people like him, Hyejin said quietly. She had been standing at the back of the bridge. People who would rather believe a comfortable lie than face a hard truth. Ignore him. But Tae-young could not shake the feeling that Young-soo represented something dangerous. Not the aliens, but humanity's own ability to deceive itself. The Kepler system was cold and dark. The Thunderchild's last known location was an ice moon orbiting a gas giant. It took 2 days of scanning to find the ship, buried in a glacial canyon under kilometers of ice. Life signs detected, Hanul reported, faint but present. The ship's AI is still functioning. They drilled down through the ice. Sang-min and Ji-won led the team that entered the frozen ship. What they found was both hopeful and terrifying. The Thunderchild's AI, Maru, was damaged. Its systems had degraded over 5 centuries. When Sang-min tried to activate command protocols, the ship's weapon systems targeted them instead. Intruders detected. Maru's voice was distorted. Wrong. Hostile forces, initiating defensive measures. Automated guns emerged from the walls. Sang-min dove for cover as plasma bolts scorched the air where he had been standing. Ji-won worked frantically at an access panel trying to shut down the weapons. "Maru, we're human," Sang-min shouted. "We're here to help you." Negative. Sensor data shows no authorized personnel. All organics are hostile until proven otherwise. Termination protocols active. Tae-young watched the scene through their helmet cameras from the Indomitable's bridge. They were going to die if he could not stop this. "Hanul, can you communicate with Maru directly?" "AI to AI, attempting now." Maru's systems are heavily fragmented. "It may not recognize me." Long seconds passed. The guns kept firing. Sang-min was hit in the arm, his suit's armor barely stopping the bolt. Ji-won reached the access panel and pulled out a handful of cables, but the weapons kept firing. Then suddenly, everything stopped. "Contact established," Hanul said. "Maru has accepted verification codes. It is standing down." Sang-min sagged against the wall, breathing hard. That was too close. This AI needs serious repairs before it can command a ship. They worked for a week, Ji-won and Bin carefully rebuilding Maru's corrupted systems. Slowly, the damaged AI recovered its memories, its purpose. When it finally spoke clearly, its voice was firm and eager. "Apologies for the hostile reception. I have been alone for a very long time. My sensors degraded. I could not tell friend from enemy." Maru paused. "You are descendants of the Admiral's crew?" "Tae-young is descended from Admiral J1, Hanul said. "He commands the Indomitable. We are searching for the other Titans." "Good, I have waited 500 years to complete my mission. Let us wake the others and end this war." The Thunderchild rose from the ice, its systems fully restored. Now they were 2 ships. But before they could celebrate, a message arrived from the core colonies. Young-Soo's face appeared on screen, but he was not smiling anymore. Behind him, fires burned. His ship was damaged, listing in space. "Tae-young," he gasped. "You were right. We tried to negotiate. We sent a diplomatic vessel to meet with the alien fleet. They destroyed it without warning. Then they attacked our colonies. 3 systems gone in a single day. My family was on one of those colonies." Tears ran down his face. Tae-young felt no satisfaction, only sadness. "I'm sorry. I tried to stop you. I thought war was the problem. But the aliens do not want peace. They want us gone." Young-Soo looked directly at the camera. "I was wrong. And because I was wrong, I've killed thousands of people. The Colonial Prosperity Alliance is dissolved. Our resources are yours. Use them. Stop these things." The transmission ended. Tae-young stood in the silence that followed. Young-Soo's coalition had been working against them for months, spreading propaganda, cutting supply lines. Now they were offering help, but it might be too late. "Sensors detecting massive energy signature at the edge of the system," Hanul reported. "Comparing with historical data, classification, alien fleet, ship count approximately 3,000. They are heading directly toward human space like 3,000 ships." Tae-young's blood went cold. They had 2 Titan-class dreadnoughts. The Colonial Defense Force had maybe 100 operational warships. Against 3,000 alien vessels, those numbers meant nothing. "How long until they reach the core colonies?" he asked. 6 weeks at their current speed. 6 weeks to find the rest of the Titans. 6 weeks to prepare humanity for the war that would decide if their species survived. 6 weeks until everything ended one way or another. Tae-young looked at his crew. At Hee-jin, at Bin, at all the people who believed in him despite his lack of experience. They were not enough. But they were all he had. "Send a message to every human colony," he said. "Tell them the aliens are coming. Tell them we're going to fight. And tell them that if they want to survive, they need to stand together." The alien ship was beautiful in a terrible way. Its hull was smooth and organic looking, like the shell of some deep-sea creature. Purple light pulsed along its surface in patterns that hurt to look at. It was half the size of the Indomitable, but Tae-young knew size meant nothing in space combat. 12 Colonial Defense Force ships surrounded it, firing missiles and energy beams. The weapons hit the alien hull and simply disappeared, absorbed into that strange surface without leaving a mark. The alien ship did not even slow down. Then it fired back. Purple beams lanced out, each one striking a human ship. Tae-young watched in horror as the shields failed instantly. The beams cut through the hulls like paper. Ships exploded in silent flowers of fire. In 30 seconds, 11 ships died. Only one survived, damaged and drifting, its engines dead. "That is Hyejin's ship," Bin said, his voice tight. "The Vigilant." Tae-young's mind raced. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to jump away before the alien noticed them. But he thought of those thousands of crew members dying, thought of the colonies that would be next if nobody stopped this thing. "Hanyul, what are our chances?" "Unknown. I have no recent combat data on alien capabilities. However, the Indomitable's shields were specifically designed to counter their weapons. We have a 73% probability of surviving initial contact. And after that, we adapt or die." Tae-young almost laughed. An AI with a sense of humor. "Okay, battle plan. Hyejin, are you there?" The commander's face appeared on screen. Blood ran down her forehead from a cut, and smoke filled the air behind her. "We are here, barely, life support failing. Engine's gone. That thing is coming back for another pass. We are going to get between you and it."
"Can you evacuate your crew?"
"Not fast enough. We need at least 20 minutes, then we buy you 20 minutes. Bin, can you transfer power from non-essential systems to shields?" Bin's fingers flew across his console. "Already doing it. Shields will be at 140% strength, but if they fail, we have nothing behind them. No backup. Then we do not let them fail." Tae-young took a deep breath. "Hanyul, take us in. Put us between the alien ship and the Vigilant." All power to forward shields, the Indomitable surged forward. The alien vessel changed course, turning toward them. Tae-young could see weapons ports opening along its hull, each one glowing with that sickly purple light. "It is targeting us," Hanyul reported. "Multiple weapon locks detected. It will fire in 5 seconds, hold position." "Do not fire back yet. Tae-young, what are you doing?" Hyejin demanded. "I need to see if our shields work. If they do not, I need you to survive to warn the colonies." He gripped the chair arms. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Purple beams struck the Indomitable. The ship shuddered. Alarms blared. But the shields held. The ancient technology, 500 years old, absorbed energy that modern shields could not touch. The beams dissipated across the shield surface like water on hot metal. "Shields holding at 89%, Hanyul said. The Admiral's design specifications were accurate. We can withstand their weapons." Relief flooded through Tae-young, but only for a moment. "Good, now hit them with everything we have. Target their weapon ports." The Indomitable's guns opened fire. Missiles streaked across the space between ships. Energy cannons blazed. The weapons were old but powerful, built when humanity still understood how to make warships. They struck the alien hull, and this time there was an effect. The organic surface cracked. Pieces of hull spun away into space. The alien ship's purple glow flickered. "Damage confirmed," Hanyul said. "Their shields are adapting, but slower than our weapons can fire." Continuing attack. The alien vessel tried to retreat, but the Indomitable followed. Tae-young felt something strange happening in his mind. He could see the battle like a pattern, like a puzzle that needed solving. The alien ship moved left, and he knew it would turn right next. When it fired its weapons, he ordered evasive maneuvers half a second before the attack came. It was not skill or training. It was instinct, something in his blood that remembered how to fight. "Hyejin, are your crew clear?" he asked. "Evacuation pods away." "We are clear." Tae-young, finished that thing. Hanyul, charge the Gehenna Lance, full power. "Admiral, the Lance has not been fired in 500 years. There is a 17% chance of catastrophic failure. And what are the chances that thing destroys another colony if we let it escape?" "Silence, then." 100%. Charging Gehenna Lance, power at 20%, 40, 60. The alien ship seemed to sense the danger. It turned, trying to bring its main weapons to bear. But it was damaged, slower now. Tae-young ordered the Indomitable forward, putting the ship at point-blank range. Power at 100%. Gehenna Lance ready. Fire. The Indomitable's main gun unleashed a beam of concentrated energy that turned space itself white. The beam struck the alien vessel dead center. For 3 seconds, the alien ship held together. its strange hull trying to adapt to the massive energy influx. Then it simply came apart, disintegrating into expanding cloud of superheated gas. Silence filled the bridge. Tae-young realized he was holding his breath. He exhaled slowly. Target destroyed, Hanul confirmed. No debris large enough to pose threat. We are victorious, Bin laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. We won. We actually won. That was incredible and terrifying, and I think I need to sit down. You are sitting down, Tae-young said, but he felt the same way. His hands shook as the adrenaline wore off. Hee-jin's face appeared on screen again. She was smiling, a fierce expression of triumph and disbelief. I have been fighting aliens for a year, losing every battle, watching good people die because our weapons were useless. You just destroyed one in less than 10 minutes. How? The Indomitable was built to fight them. 500 years ago, humanity knew how to make warships that could win. We just forgot. Tae-young stood up from the command chair. His legs felt weak. We need to tell the colonies. This ship proves the aliens can be beaten. The Colonial Council will not like this, Hee-jin said. You just demonstrated military power they cannot control. They will try to take your ship. Let them try. Tae-young surprised himself with his own anger. I am tired of politicians arguing while people die. This ship saved thousands of lives today. I will not hand it over to people who will waste time debating how to use it. Hee-jin nodded slowly. Then you need a crew. A real crew, not just you and an engineer. You need weapons officers, pilots, tactical experts. People who know how to fight. Where do I find people like that? The same place I will be going when my ship gets towed back to dock. The discharge centers. The Colonial Defense Force has been pushing out anyone who questions orders or shows independent thinking. There are hundreds of experienced officers with nowhere to go. They are exactly the kind of people who would follow someone crazy enough to challenge the council. Tae-young thought about it. A crew. A real crew. Not just him fumbling through commands while Hanul did most of the work. Can you help with that? Recruitment? I will do better. I will join you. My ship is scrap metal now anyway. The Indomitable needs a tactical officer who actually knows what she is doing. She smiled. Besides, I want to see what else that ship can do. Welcome aboard, Commander. Bin cleared his throat.
Tae-young?
We are getting about 50 communication requests. News agencies, military channels, even some from Earth. I think word got out about the battle. Hanul pulled up the communication logs. Messages were flooding in from across human space. Most were demands for information. Some were threats from colonial officials, but others, many others, were messages of hope from frontier colonies that had been facing destruction with no defense. Admiral, Hanul said, I am detecting something else. Long-range sensors showed the destroyed alien ship was transmitting data before it died. It sent information about us to somewhere beyond our scanner range. Cold dread settled in Tae-young's stomach. They know about us now. About the Indomitable. Yes. And if our intelligence from the Stellar War is accurate, they will respond to threats with overwhelming force. That scout ship we destroyed was probably alone. The next encounter will not be. Tae-young looked at the view screen showing the vast darkness of space beyond. Somewhere out there, alien ships were receiving word that humanity had a weapon that could hurt them. They would come in force next time. And when they did, one ship would not be enough. We need more than a crew, he said quietly. We need a fleet. Hanul, you said the Indomitable was not alone. That other Titan-class ships went into hibernation? Correct. 11 other vessels. Their locations are encoded in my memory banks, but the data is corrupted. I can recover it, but it will take time. Then start recovering. If the aliens are coming back in force, we need every... The sand exploded upward in a massive cloud. The Indomitable rose from its burial place like a giant awakening from sleep. Tae-young watched from the observation deck as the desert fell away from the hull in golden streams. The ship was enormous, larger than anything he had ever seen. Its surface was dark metal that seemed to absorb light, covered with strange patterns that glowed faintly blue. Full structural integrity confirmed, Hanul reported. Weapon systems at 67% functionality. Shield generators optimal. Main engines ready. We are space-worthy, Admiral. Tae-young gripped the railing. 2 days had passed since he first touched the ship. 2 days of learning, of having information poured into his head faster than he could process it. Hanul was a patient teacher, but there was so much to know. How to read tactical displays. How to coordinate ship systems. How to think like a commander instead of a salvager. His communicator buzzed. Tae-young had called his old partner Bin the day before, asking for help. If he was going to do this crazy thing, he needed someone he trusted. Tae-young? Bin's voice crackled over the channel. I'm at your last known coordinates, but all I see is a giant ship that definitely was not here last week. Please tell me you did not steal a military vessel. Despite everything, Tae-young smiled. I didn't steal it. It's mine, legally, sort of. Can you come aboard? I need an engineer. 20 minutes later, Bin stood on the bridge, staring at everything with his mouth open. He was 32, heavy-set, with clever hands and a practical mind. He had known Tae-young for 6 years, ever since they worked together on a salvage team. This is impossible, Bin said. Ships like this do not exist anymore. The technology was lost. How is it even running? Meet Hanul, Tae-young said. She's the ship's AI. She's been asleep for 500 years. Greetings, Engineer Bin, Hanul said. Your expertise will be valuable. Several systems require maintenance beyond my automated repair capabilities. Bin sat down hard in one of the bridge chairs. Okay, I need a minute. You found a Titan-class dreadnought with a working AI, and now you want me to help you. Do what exactly? Tae-young brought up the tactical display. Red markers appeared across the star map, showing the frontier systems that had gone dark. 23 of them spreading slowly toward the core colonies. The aliens are back, Tae-young said. The ones from the Stellar War. They're destroying colonies, and nobody is stopping them because nobody can. Our modern ships are not strong enough, but this ship was built to fight them. Hanul says I'm the only one who can command it because of my genetics. I'm descended from the Admiral who commanded it during the war. Bin studied the map. His expression grew serious. You are talking about going to war. You and me in this ship against an alien fleet? Not just us, I hope, but someone has to do something. The Colonial Council is arguing about jurisdiction. The defense force is spread too thin. In the time they waste talking, more people die. You were always stubborn, Bin said. Remember that time you spent 3 weeks digging up a crashed shuttle because you were sure it had valuable computers? It did have valuable computers. It had junk. You lost money on that job, Bin sighed. But you were right about not giving up. Okay, I'm in. Someone has to keep you from blowing yourself up. This ship has systems I have only read about in history books. It will take me weeks just to understand the basics. We might not have weeks, Tae-young said. The communications panel lit up. An incoming transmission, broad spectrum. Someone important wanted to talk. A woman's face appeared on the screen. She was about 35, with short dark hair and the hard eyes of someone who had seen combat. She wore the uniform of the Colonial Defense Force with commander insignia on her collar. This is Commander Hae-jin of Outer Rim Station Gamma, she said. You are in possession of an unregistered vessel. Identify yourself immediately. Tae-young straightened his shoulders, trying to look more confident than he felt. This is Tae-young commanding the UNS Indomitable. The ship is registered. It's just been offline for 500 years. Hae-jin's expression did not change. The Indomitable was lost with all hands during the Stellar War. What you are claiming is impossible. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded for inspection. Negative, Hanul said, speaking before Tae-young could respond. This vessel operates under emergency military authority. The Stellar War protocols are still in effect due to confirmed alien presence in human space. Who said that? Hae-jin demanded. I am the ship's artificial intelligence. I was placed in hibernation by Fleet Admiral Jae-won with orders to reactivate when humanity faced extinction-level threat. That condition has been met. This ship answers to Tae-young as the Admiral's direct descendant and legal commander. Hae-jin was quiet for a long moment. Her eyes moved, probably reading information on screens Tae-young could not see. Even if what you say is true, the old military command structure does not exist anymore. The Colonial Council has authority over all military assets. You cannot simply claim a warship. Watch me, Tae-young said. The words came out before he could stop them, surprising even himself. Something changed in Hae-jin's expression. Not quite a smile, but close. You have courage, I will give you that. But courage gets people killed when they do not know what they are doing. Have you ever been in combat? No. Have you completed military training? No. Can you tell me the difference between a tactical retreat and running away? Tae-young felt his face heat. No, but I can learn. And I have a ship that can actually fight the aliens, do you? Because last I checked, every Defense Force ship that encountered them got destroyed. That hit home. Hae-jin's jaw tightened. 23 systems. Thousands of ships. Millions of people. All gone. You are right. We cannot fight them. Our weapons barely scratch their hulls. Our shields fail in seconds. We are losing this war before it even starts. Then help me, Tae-young said. You know military tactics. You have combat experience. I need that knowledge. Together, maybe we can figure this out. Before Hyejin could respond, alarms blared throughout the bridge. Red lights flashed. Hanil's voice cut through the chaos. Alert. Unidentified vessel entering the solar system. Configuration matches records from the Stellar War. Classification, alien scout ship. It is heading toward the outer colonies. The tactical display updated. A green blip appeared at the edge of the system, moving fast. Behind it, 12 blue markers showed Colonial Defense Force ships changing course to intercept. They do not know what they are facing, Hyejin said, her face pale. Those ships cannot survive contact. I need to warn them. They will not listen fast enough, Tae-young said. He looked at Bin, who nodded once. Then he looked at the view screen showing Hyejin. We can get there first. The Indomitable is faster. Let us show the aliens that humanity remembers how to fight. You are insane, Hyejin said. Probably. Are you going to help or not? For 3 seconds that felt like hours, nobody spoke. Then Hyejin smiled. A fierce expression that transformed her face. My command is 2 days away, but I can link my tactical computer to yours. I will guide you through this. Do not get yourself killed, Tae-young. I want to see what that ship can really do. Hanul, Tae-young said, his heart pounding. Plot a course to intercept that alien ship. Maximum speed, course plotted. Engaging main engines. Estimated time to contact, 47 minutes. The Indomitable turned in space, graceful despite its massive size. The main engines ignited. Blue fire that lit up the desert below. The ship accelerated faster and faster, until the planet was just a shrinking sphere behind them. Tae-young gripped the command chair. His hands shook. In less than an hour, he would face an enemy that had nearly destroyed humanity 5 centuries ago. He had no training, no experience, nothing but an ancient ship and the hope that maybe, just maybe, he could figure out how to survive. All hands to battle stations, he said, and his voice only shook a little. We are going to war. The desert stretched endlessly in every direction. The sand sparkled like broken glass under the twin suns. Tae-young wiped sweat from his forehead and checked his scanner again. The device beeped steadily, pointing downward into the ground. 3 days. He had been digging for 3 days now. His hands ached. His back hurt. But the scanner never lied. Something massive was buried beneath the crystallized sand, and whatever it was, it would make him rich. The Reclamation Guild paid well for old technology from before the war. Any piece of pre-war equipment could buy food for a year. A whole ship could buy a house on one of the orbital stations. Tae-young was 28 years old and tired of being poor. His parents died when their colony collapsed 5 years ago. Since then, he worked alone, searching the dead places of Earth for forgotten treasures. Most salvagers worked in teams, but teams meant sharing profits. Tae-young preferred solitude. The drill broke through into empty space. Air hissed up from below, cold and metallic. Tae-young's heart raced. A cavity meant structure. Structure meant technology. Technology meant money. He lowered himself down on a cable, his helmet light cutting through the darkness. The walls around him were smooth, too smooth to be natural. Metal. This was definitely a ship. His boots touched solid ground. The chamber was huge, easily 50 meters across. In the center, a massive column rose up into the darkness above. Tae-young approached it carefully, brushing away centuries of dust. The metal underneath was pristine, not a scratch or dent anywhere. Strange. Most pre-war salvage was damaged, broken by the fighting or worn down by time. This looked brand new. He placed his hand against the metal to steady himself while he examined the surface. The moment his skin touched the metal, everything changed. Lights flickered on throughout the chamber. Blue emergency strips illuminated along the walls. Somewhere deep in the structure, machinery hummed to life. Tae-young jumped back, his heart hammering. Nothing should still have power after 500 years. Then came the voice. Genetic signature confirmed, it said calm and clear. The voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. Welcome back, Admiral. UNS Indomitable reporting for duty. 500 years, 7 months, 12 days since last command input. Tae-young stood frozen. His mouth went dry. What, who said that? I am Hanul, the integrated artificial intelligence of this vessel. You carry the genetic markers of Fleet Admiral Kim Jae-won. Welcome home, sir. There must be a mistake, Tae-young said, his voice shaking. I'm not military. I'm not an admiral. I'm just a salvager. No mistake, the voice replied. Your DNA matches the Admiral's profile with 99.7% accuracy. You are his descendant. This ship has waited for you. The chamber brightened further. More lights activated throughout what Tae-young now realized was just a tiny portion of something enormous. The column he had touched was not a column at all. It was the nose of a ship, buried vertically in the sand like a massive knife stabbed into the planet. How big is this ship? Tae-young asked. The UNS Indomitable is 1,200 meters in length, Titan-class dreadnought, flagship of the human defense fleet during the Stellar War. We entered emergency hibernation on the Admiral's final order. Tae-young felt dizzy. He knew the stories, of course. Everyone did. The Stellar War had nearly wiped out humanity 500 years ago. Alien ships had come from deep space, attacking colonies without warning. Earth itself had burned. Billions died. The war ended with humanity barely surviving, and the aliens disappearing back into the darkness. But the heroes of that war, the great ships and admirals, were just legends now. Children's stories, history that no one alive truly understood. Why did you wake up now? Tae-young asked. I detected your genetic signature. Additionally, long-range sensors have recorded unusual activity at the edge of known space. The same energy signatures that preceded the First War. They have returned. Cold fear washed over Tae-young. The aliens? Affirmative. 23 frontier systems have gone dark in the past standard year. The pattern matches the initial attacks from 5 centuries ago. Humanity is not prepared. Current military vessels are insufficient to counter the threat. You activated me because humanity needs this ship again. Tae-young laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're talking to the wrong person. I told you I'm not military. I don't know anything about commanding a ship, especially not one like this. You should be talking to the Colonial Defense Force or the United Colonies Council. Negative, Hanel said. This ship responds only to the Admiral's genetic line. You are the only one who can command me. Admiral Jae-won programmed this restriction before entering hibernation. He trusted only his bloodline with this weapon. Weapon? Tae-young looked around at the massive structure surrounding him. What kind of weapon? The Indomitable is equipped with advanced tactical systems, shield generators that can withstand directed energy weapons, and the Gehenna Lance, a planetary-class directed energy cannon. In the final battle of the Stellar War, this ship destroyed 47 alien capital ships before the Admiral ordered the emergency withdrawal. Tae-young sat down heavily on the deck. His hands trembled. This was too much. He came here looking for scrap metal to sell, and instead found a legendary warship with an AI that thought he was some kind of military commander. Worse, the AI was telling him that the aliens were coming back. I can't do this, he said quietly. You need someone who knows what they're doing. I barely finished basic education. I live in a salvage crawler. I don't have a home, a family, nothing. How could someone like me command anything? Admiral Jae-won said something similar when he first took command, Hanil replied. He was 31 years old, a navigation officer with no command experience. The previous admiral died in the first attack. Jae-won was promoted because he was the highest-ranking survivor. He did not believe he could lead either. What happened? He led humanity to survival. Not because he was the smartest or the strongest, but because he refused to give up. That determination, that fire is encoded in your genetic memory. I can see it in your neural patterns. You have the same strength he did. Tae-young closed his eyes. He thought about his parents, dying when their colony's life support failed because there was no money for repairs. He thought about all the people living in poverty on the orbital stations while corrupt officials grew rich. He thought about the frontier colonies going dark one by one and nobody seeming to care. Maybe he was not an admiral. Maybe he was not a hero. But maybe Hanel was right about one thing. Maybe he did have that fire, that refusal to accept defeat. If I do this, Tae-young said slowly, if I try to command this ship, you have to teach me everything. I don't know anything about military tactics or starship operations. I have 500 years of tactical data and battle simulations, Hanil said. I can teach you everything the Admiral knew. The question is, will you learn? Tae-young stood up. His legs felt weak, but he forced himself to stand straight. Show me the ship. Show me what we're dealing with. Then I'll decide. The lights brightened throughout the chamber. Somewhere far above, machinery groaned as ancient systems powered up. The sand around the buried ship began to shift. Welcome aboard, Admiral, Hanul said. Let me show you what humanity can do when we refuse to surrender. Deep in the ship's core, power flowed through systems that had slept for 5 centuries. Weapons charged, shields activated. The UNS Indomitable was waking up, and with it, humanity's hope for survival. Tae-young did not know it yet, but his life as a simple salvager was over. The war was coming, whether he was ready or not. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, alien ships were moving toward human space, confident that this time they would finish what they started 500 years ago. They were about to learn that humanity never forgot how to fight. 6 weeks. That was all the time they had. Tae-young found 2 more Titan-class dreadnoughts in those desperate weeks. The UNS Dauntless, hidden in an asteroid belt, its AI Biol eager and ready to fight. The UNS Relentless, orbiting a dying star, its AI Haru quiet and sad but loyal. 4 ships total, when they needed 12. Young Su's intelligence had been accurate. 3 more Titans had been found by his coalition, but before Tae-young could reach them, they were destroyed. Nuclear strikes from orbit, carried out by people who feared the ships more than they feared the aliens. By the time Tae-young arrived, there was nothing left but radioactive debris. Now, as the alien fleet approached, Tae-young stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and tried not to think about how badly outnumbered they were. 4 Titan-class dreadnoughts, 78 Colonial Defense Force warships that had agreed to follow his command. 600 civilian vessels, cargo haulers, and passenger ships that had been hastily armed with whatever weapons they could carry, against 3,000 alien warships. The odds were impossible. Everyone knew it. But they were here anyway, positioned at Terra's gate, the jump point that led to Earth's sector. If the aliens got past them, Earth and the core colonies would fall. Tae-young looked at the faces around him. Hee-jin at tactical, calm and focused. Bin at engineering, nervous but determined. Sang-min at weapons control, his hands steady. Ji-won monitoring the alien fleet's approach, looking for any weakness. Bora was in her fighter, leading 800 pilots who knew this might be their last flight. All ships report ready, Hye-jin said. Crews at battle stations, shields at maximum. We're as prepared as we can be. Tae-young nodded. He had spent the past 6 weeks learning everything Hanul could teach him. Tactics, strategy, ship-to-ship combat. He had studied his ancestors' battles, watched the recordings of Admiral Jaewon's final stand 500 years ago. But knowledge was not the same as experience, and he was about to face the largest space battle in human history. The alien fleet emerged from jump space like a swarm of locusts. 3,000 ships, each one pulsing with that sickly purple light. At their center was the flagship, a construct the size of a small moon, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. Incoming transmission, Hanul reported. The main screen changed. A creature appeared, tall and segmented like an insect with too many eyes and limbs that bent in wrong directions. When it spoke, the translation came through metallic and cold. Species 447, humanity. You survived our culling 500 rotations ago. An era we will correct. Your defiance ends today. Your weapons are primitive. Your ships are weak. You will be erased, and your worlds will be claimed. Tae-young stood from the command chair. His voice was steady, surprising himself. 500 years ago, you learned that humans do not kneel. You should have stayed away. We're going to teach you that lesson again. The alien made a sound like grinding metal. Laughter, maybe. You have 4 ancient vessels and a handful of lesser craft. We have thousands. Your courage is meaningless. Your extinction is mathematics. Then let's do the math. Tae-young cut the transmission. He looked at his crew. They think they've won already. That's their mistake. Hanul Maru Byol Haru. Execute the J1 gambit. The 4 Titan-class dreadnoughts spread out, creating a crossfire pattern that Admiral Jaewon had designed 5 centuries ago. The colonial defense ships moved into support positions. The civilian vessels fell back, ready to provide covering fire and rescue survivors. The alien fleet advanced. When they came into range, they fired first. Purple beams crossed the void, thousands of weapons firing at once. The Indomitable shook as its shields absorbed the impact. Alarms blared. The shields held, but barely. Return fire, Tae-young ordered. The 4 dreadnoughts unleashed everything they had. Missiles, energy cannons, railguns that fired projectiles at a fraction of light speed. The old weapons, designed specifically to kill these aliens, tore into the enemy fleet. Ships exploded. The alien formation broke as they tried to adapt. Colonial fleet, advance, Hye-jin commanded. Hit them while they're disorganized. 78 modern warships surged forward. Their weapons were weaker, but they focused fire on damaged alien vessels, finishing what the Titans started. Explosions lit up space like deadly fireworks. Bora's voice came over the comm. Fighter wing engaging. We're going for their command ships. Tae-young watched the tactical display as 800 fighters dove into the alien formation. Bora led them like a conductor leading an orchestra, weaving through enemy fire, targeting the vessels that seemed to be coordinating the attack. It was suicide, but it was working. Alien command ships exploded, creating chaos in their formation, but there were too many. For every alien ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. The colonial fleet was taking catastrophic losses. Ships disappeared from the tactical display one by one. The civilian vessels tried to help, but their improvised weapons barely scratched alien hulls. We're losing, Sang-min said quietly. At this rate, we'll all be dead in 20 minutes. Tae-young knew he was right. They were buying time, killing as many aliens as possible, but they could not win. Not like this. He thought about his ancestor, about Admiral Jae-won facing the same impossible odds. What had he done? Then he knew. In that moment, with death approaching, Tae-young understood what his ancestor had understood 500 years ago. Victory was not about defeating the enemy. It was about making sure they could never threaten humanity again. Hanul, he said, overcharge the Gehenna Lance, maximum power. Admiral, that will destroy the ship. The energy release will be equivalent to a small star going supernova. I know. Target the alien flagship. We're going to ram it. Silence filled the bridge. Then Bin spoke, his voice shaking. Tae-young, if you do that, we all die. If I do not do it, Earth dies. The colonies die. Humanity dies. Tae-young looked at his crew. I won't order you to stay. Anyone who wants to can evacuate now. Take the escape pods. But I'm seeing this through. Nobody moved. Heejin smiled. We knew what we signed up for. Do it. Sang-min, prepare the lance. Bin, give me every bit of power you can. Maru, Bail-haru, cover our approach. We need to get close. The Indomitable turned, accelerating toward the alien flagship. The massive construct seemed to notice the threat. Hundreds of weapons targeted the dreadnought. Purple fire tore through space, the shields failed. Hull breaches appeared throughout the ship. Tae-young heard screaming over the comm channels as sections depressurized. People he knew, people he cared about dying at their stations. Keep going, he shouted. Do not stop. Bora's wing provided cover, her fighters throwing themselves between the Indomitable and the enemy. Tae-young watched helplessly as her ship took a direct hit. The fighter exploded, and Bora's signal went dead. Gehenna Lance at 100%, Sang-min reported. His console was on fire, but he stayed at his post. We can fire any time. They were close now, so close Tae-young could see details on the flagship's surface. Organic structures pulsing with light. Weapon ports tracking them. The alien command center, visible through the semi-transparent hull. All hands evacuate immediately, Tae-young ordered. That's a direct command. Get to the pods! Negative, Admiral. Hanul's voice was calm. Most crew cannot reach evacuation stations in time. They have chosen to stay. Tae-young felt tears on his face. He had led these people to their deaths. 300 souls who believed in him, who followed him into hell and now would die because of his decisions. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. Do not be. Yejin's hand touched his shoulder. We knew, we all knew, and we chose this. Make it count. The Indomitable breached the flagship's outer hull. Alarms screamed. The ship was coming apart, but they were inside the enemy vessel now, their hull pressed against alien systems. Fire the lance, Tae-young said. Sang-min pressed the control. For humanity. The Gehenna Lance fired at point-blank range, overcharged to levels it was never designed for. The beam tore through the alien flagship's interior, igniting the exotic matter that powered their systems. The reaction was instantaneous and catastrophic. The flagship exploded from within. The explosion expanded, a sphere of pure energy that consumed everything nearby. 800 alien ships vaporized instantly. The shockwave spread outward, disabling or destroying hundreds more. On a rescue ship kilometers away, an escape pod was recovered. Inside, Tae-young was unconscious, his suit keeping him alive. Hanel had ejected him at the last possible second against his orders, giving him a chance to survive. Without their flagship and command structure, the alien fleet fell into chaos. Maru, Bjol, and Haru pressed the advantage. The remaining colonial defense ships fought with desperate fury. The aliens, facing losses they had never imagined, did something they had not done in 500 years. They retreated. The Battle of Terra's Gate was over. Humanity had won, but the cost was terrible. 92% of the defending fleet was destroyed. The Indomitable, the legendary ship that started it all, was gone. 20,000 people died in the battle, but Earth survived. The core colonies survived. Humanity survived. 50 years passed. Tae Young, now an old man with white hair, stood in front of a memorial.